Hey there everybody, and how are you guys doing today? I am Joe Marin from mobilecupofjoe.com, and in this episode of MCOJ, I'm going to be running through my top 5 favorite things from CES 2014. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Nevada this year, we saw a ton of different things announced between smart TVs, tablets, smartphones, 4K TVs, a bunch of stuff, 4K cameras, the list goes on and on. There were 5 things that really stuck out to me this year. These are gadgets and just the kind of events and things that did take place at CES. So let's go ahead and run through my top 5 favorite things of CES 2014 in today's episode of MCOJ. But before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, rin it over, and sit on down. Take a swig from your mobile cup of Joe. Alright guys, so keep in mind as I go through this list, these are in no particular order, these are just randomly my 5 favorite things that were announced at CES this year. So number 5 on my list is Roku TV. So Roku actually surprised us this year at CES by announcing that they would be baking in the Roku software and operating system into actual TV devices later this year. So Roku has partnered currently with Hisense and TCL. They have mentioned that they are working with other global TV manufacturers, but Hisense and TCL are the 2 ones that we know for sure are partnered with Roku so far. So we are going to be seeing TVs in fall of 2014 this year in retail stores ranging anywhere from 32 inches up to 55 inches, running the Roku software out of the box. So these are sort of smart TVs per se, although you will not be seeing web browsers like you see in a lot of other smart TVs, because there's no web browser built into the Roku operating system. But you will be getting the same interface that was introduced with the Roku 3, and you can still have direct access to Netflix, YouTube, Pandora, Amazon Instant Video, HBO Go, and all of your favorite Roku channels onto these TVs directly. Now the settings in the operating system will be tweaked just a little bit with kind of channels for your cable box, your input for your game system, and DVD player, but these TVs actually look really, really nice. We haven't had any price details announced just yet, but I'm a really big fan of Roku. I had the Roku 2 XD and then upgraded to the Roku 3, and I'm a huge fan of it. Especially with the inclusion of the YouTube channel, there's a lot more functionality with it right now than there ever was, and new channels are constantly added. These TVs will be updated with the new channels, and having Roku built directly into these TV devices, very interested to see how this does go. Caught me completely off guard, and I would definitely feel happy throwing my money down on one of these TVs. Like I said, no pricing, but Roku has said that we can expect to see these TVs land in retail stores in fall of 2014, so keep your eyes peeled for Roku TV later this year. Okay, so number 4 on my list is actually something that we kind of were expecting. We weren't really sure what it was going to be, but we did know that this company would be making an announcement. On Monday, January 6th, Pebble, the maker of the famous smartwatch right here on my wrist, I've got the original Pebble right here, they actually introduced the Pebble Steel, which is their latest model of the Pebble smartwatch. So the Pebble Steel doesn't really have any big software improvements or feature improvements over the original Pebble that I have, but there is an incredible and huge design enhancement. The new Pebble Steel is made with a frame constructed out of a machined stainless steel, and it will actually come with 2 watch bands. So the Pebble Steel, first of all, comes in 2 variants, one of a kind of silvery, shiny brushed steel look, and the other, which is still made out of brushed steel, but is more of a kind of black matte finish. Now, both of these watches will come with a matching stainless steel watch band, but also with a leather watch band. So there's a big push for kind of a very premium experience with the new Pebble Steel. Also included is Corning Gorilla Glass for the display to make it more durable and a bit stronger. And there's also an RGB LED light on the bottom left-hand corner of the Pebble Steel to indicate where you are at when it is charging, because currently with the Pebble, there is no indication when you're charging it where the status is at, so that is another nice inclusion for the Pebble Steel. Now in terms of features, it's the exact same features as we have on the current Pebble right now. You will have access to the App Store when it launches, which Pebble says they expect to ship the Pebble Steel by January 28th globally. And the Pebble App Store will be available for the original Pebble as well, but the Pebble Steel just looks like to offer a very high-end experience for the Pebble. Again, same features, but if you love the features of the Pebble, which I certainly do, but you just kind of want a fancier design, the Pebble Steel looks like an incredible product. Now, it will be a bit more expensive with a starting price tag of $249, which is $100 more than the existing Pebble, But if you like the idea of the Pebble, but you aren't a fan of kind of the plastic design, the Pebble Steel could be perfect for you. Okay, so coming in at number 3 on my list is actually coming from T-Mobile with their announcement of Un-carrier 4.0. So John Ledger, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing his last name right, took the stage at CES on January 8th on Wednesday to announce Un-carrier 4.0 for T-Mobile's big Un-carrier movement. Now with Un-carrier 4.0, we had seen rumors and leaks before saying that T-Mobile would pay for your ETF if you come from an existing or kind of a competitor like Sprint, AT&T, or Verizon, or any other really smartphone service provider in the United States. And if you came over to T-Mobile, we had heard that they would pay for your ETFs, or early termination fees. And for those of you that don't know, if you leave your existing service provider early before your contract is over, you have to pay what is called an early termination fee, or an ETF, which is essentially your leftover charges for your smartphone cost and any other charges that you do have. Well, T-Mobile officially announced that they will be paying for your ETFs if you come over from, again, AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, or any other competitor to T-Mobile. Now, what's really interesting about this is that it is actually a very cool deal. Now, we have heard, and we've actually seen numerous times from other service providers, that they'll pay your ETFs, but this is normally kind of just a promotional thing that doesn't last forever. But with Un-carrier 4.0 with T-Mobile, this is a permanent thing. If you come over to T-Mobile at any point now, they will pay for your early termination fee. Now, they will pay up to $350 per line for your ETF, and they will also give you up to $300 in trade-in credit when you trade in your smartphone at T-Mobile for a new one. Now, that's up to $650 per person coming over to T-Mobile. Now, they will also pay up to 5 lines of your service. So say that you've got 5 people on your line, you've got you, mom, dad, grandma, and a brother or sister. They will pay to up to 5 lines for you, $350 per line, and up to $300 per smartphone that you do trade in for those lines. And you're looking at a lot of savings right there. You could have over $1,000 in charges from your ETFs. T-Mobile is going to pay for all of it. So this is going to be a huge movement for T-Mobile. They've already created quite a stir with all their previous Un-carrier 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 movements. But the Un-carrier 4.0 looks to be a very crucial part for T-Mobile. John Ledger knows what he's doing. He may be crude, he may be brash, but he knows how to stir up the industry. And I'm very excited to see what T-Mobile has in stores for us later this year. Alrighty, so my second thing on my list does come from ASUS, which is an insanely big manufacturer of products in the industry. They make smartphones, tablets, monitors, hard drives. They make an insane amount of products. But they did take the stage at CES on Monday, January 6th, and they announced a ton of new products. They announced dual booting PCs, awesome gaming monitors, and some phone and tablet hybrids. But one of the new product lines that really stuck out to me were ASUS's new line of Zen phones. Now, there are actually 3 phones announced for this new Zen phone line, including the Zen Phone 4, the Zen Phone 5, and the Zen Phone 6. Now, these are all budget Android smartphones, but they actually sound really good because their price tags are incredibly competitive. The Zen Phone 4 has a 4-inch display coming in with a resolution of 800 by 480. You have an Intel Atom processor in there, I believe a 5-megapixel rear-facing camera. Pretty good design, comes in a plethora of new colors, and it's going to start selling for just $99 US, completely unlocked. Now, we saw the Moto G come out this year for about $200-ish. It was like $180 or something unlocked, but you're talking $99 totally unlocked. So this is going to be a really enticing smartphone. Again, really very low-end specifications, but if you're a first-time smartphone user, could be a pretty good handset. Now, coming up next on the list is the ASUS ZenFone 5. The ZenFone 5, also like the name suggests, comes in with a 5-inch display with a 720p HD resolution, a 8-megapixel rear-facing camera on the back, another Intel Atom processor, which is a bit beefier than the ZenFone 4, and has a price tag of just $149 US. Now, the highest-end smartphone with still a very low price tag is the ASUS ZenFone 6. Now, also, as the name does suggest, the ZenFone 6 has a 6-inch display with another 720p HD resolution, same Intel Atom processor found in the ASUS ZenFone 5, but with a 13-megapixel rear-facing camera. Now, the ZenFone 6 has a price tag of just $199, totally unlocked. All of these phones will be shipping with Android 4.3 Jelly Bean preloaded with a promised upgrade to 4.4 KitKat, and they all have ASUS's brand new Zen UI, which is an Android skin that really actually looks pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of skins for Android. I love that stock buttery experience of vanilla Android, but the Zen UI actually looks really interesting. If you want more information on the Zen phones, there will be a link in the description below. All of the things that and all the stories I talk about you can actually find on our website, and there'll be links for all those articles in the description below. But really enticed to see if the Zen Phone 6 and the Zen Phone 5 and the Zen Phone 4 do deliver in the market for really budget smartphones but still perform relatively good and are still constructed pretty nicely. ASUS has probably got you covered later this year with their brand new Zen Phone line. Alright, and coming in at number 1 on my list for my top 5 favorite things of CES 2014 is actually from Huawei with the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G smartphone. Now, the Ascend Mate 2 4G is the latest flagship smartphone from Huawei, and some of the key specs for it include a 6.1-inch 720p HD display, Android 4.3 Jelly Bean, a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, 13-megapixel rear-facing camera, a 1.6 GHz quad-core processor, and 2 gigs of RAM. Now, while these are all great specs, the really big thing about the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G is its ginormous 4,050 milliamp hour battery, which Huawei promises up to 60 hours of what they say normal usage and up to 12 hours of web browsing. Now, while this awesome battery life is good enough for me, what's very cool about the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G is that it actually has a reverse charging feature, which say that I have got my Nexus 5 right here. I can take a cable, plug it one end into the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G, plug the other end into the micro USB port of my Nexus 5, and I can actually charge my Nexus 5 or any other smartphone or tablet directly from the Mate 2 4G. Now, I own a Mophie, kind of a external battery, kind of a battery pack that I can plug my Nexus 5 or Nexus 7 or any other device into to give it some extra juice, but to have your own smartphone that can charge other devices sounds very convenient to me. Huawei demonstrated it at their booths and at their press event, and it looks like it works really well. So again, to have that insane battery life, but also to be able to charge your other devices without really killing your battery too much on your current smartphone is a very cool concept to me. As to my knowledge, I'm not sure we've really seen this in any smartphones recently, so I'm very curious to see how the Mate 2 4G does perform. Now, despite some security concerns the US government has had with Huawei kind of putting spyware on their devices, we have heard rumors, and actually Huawei confirmed that the Ascend Mate 2 4G will be making its way to US markets later this year. Now, we haven't gotten an official carrier just yet, but we have heard talks about AT&T possibly being a provider and a carrier for the Mate 2 4G. Now, we will really try to get a review unit of the Mate 2 4G into Mobile Cup of Joe if we can, because we're really interested to see how the smartphone does perform, and really just looks like a very, very cool device. And guys, there you have it. Those are my top 5 favorite things from CES 2014. Again, those were in no particular order. One was not better than the other. Those are just my 5 things that kind of caught my attention the most and the things that I really took away the most from this year's Consumer Electronics Show. Now, as I stated earlier, all of the things I talked about in this video can be found on our website. Links in the description below as to all those individual articles about the products. CES this year was very interesting. There was a few other cool things there, but those are the top 5 things that really caught my attention the most. And I'd love to know what you guys thought about CES too. If you watched any coverage for CES, please comment below what your top 5, top 10, top 25, whatever it is, or just what your top 1 thing is from CES 2014 is. Let me know down below. Let me know what you think of my list, and definitely let me know what your personal favorite things were from this year's Consumer Electronics Show. We're going to be hopefully getting all of the devices that we talked about and even some more into review as the year goes on. Really going to be hammering on our PR reps because I really would like to test out all of the new future tech that we saw this year's Consumer Electronics Show. With that said, that is all the time we have for this episode of Mobile Cup of Joe. Guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button if you liked it. It takes 1 second to do so, and it really does help support the show. And if you want to show your support towards the show even more, I would really appreciate it if you'd go ahead and click that subscribe button for more Mobile Cup of Joe videos. The button's over there, or up there, down there, over there, just anywhere. If you see the subscribe button and you like the video, would really appreciate it if you'd go ahead and click it or touch it. Or touch it with your nose if you want to. If you can touch it with your nose, bonus points to you. If you want to stay connected with us some more, we are on Google+, Twitter, Facebook, obviously YouTube, and make sure you check out our website at www.mobilecupofjoe.com for the latest CES news, normal tech news, reviews, giveaways, and so much more. I am Joe Marion from mobilecupofjoe.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.